Good morning all. So today again we would be talking about modal verbs. As you all know, we were discussing about modal verbs yesterday. Modal verbs, modal auxiliary verbs, modal auxiliary, the way we call it. So when we are talking about modal auxiliary verbs, we have discussed can, when can be used, how can be used. We have discussed about can, we have discussed about could too. So again we would be discussing further about the modal auxiliaries, modal verbs, yes. So we would be again discussing about the modal verbs, and today we shall again proceed further with the remaining things. We have completed can, we have completed could, couldn't. So today we would be proceeding further with shall. So when we are talking about shall, so when is shall used? So we use shall is used with first person pronoun to express simple futurity fine. So when we are talking about shall is used with first person pronoun to express simple futurity. It is like near future, a simple future when we are talking about, and that too about the first person pronoun. Shall will be used, fine, and or we can even say shall be used. So let me give you a few more examples on this. Okay, so let us take example. I shall leave for Delhi tomorrow. So when you are talking about I shall leave for Delhi tomorrow, so this is again the near future, the nearest future, that tomorrow I would be leaving for Delhi. So I am confirming I shall be leaving for Delhi. We shall again discuss further that why shall over here we have used, why not will. Fine, we would even learn that difference today in this session going further. Yes, let me give you one more easy example. Let us give it with we. We shall invite them to the party. Again when we are talking about, we say here we shall invite them to the party. So this is about a nearing party which is going to happen, and we are talking that we shall invite. Fine, we shall invite, we will invite, we are not saying it, and why. This we would again learn, and in this cases please use shall because there is nearing possibility. But as we all know, any changes, any things could occur at a sudden moment. So there could be some changes, we might have to cancel the program also. That is why we would use it as shall. Fine. And then now let me proceed further. Okay, now I want to again say with the two examples that we have used, let me tell you, this sentence is shall is used to talk about Yes, to talk about the strong possibility or certainty of an event or action, let me say, which is going to take place in the future or in the near future. Even near future, when we are talking, is the future. So now when we are talking shall, in the above two sentences, when we have seen, when we see with this, I shall leave for Delhi tomorrow, or we shall invite them for the party. Fine. When we are looking into this, shall is used to talk about strong possibility or certainty of an event. As I said, we have planned it. Everything is planned. It's going to happen. I have to go to Delhi tomorrow. I am leaving. And we shall invite for the party. We shall invite because the party is planned. So there is strong possibility and certainty of an event and or the action, whatever is going to take place, which is going to take place in the future. It is again the nearing future. So accordingly we would be working it out. Now when we are looking further, fine, again let us talk about how the shall will be used, how we shall use shall. Again guys, one more important point. This is the first point that we have taken. Fine. Now the second point, when we are looking into shall, can be shall is again, when we are talking about shall, is used with the second and third person. The second and third person. Fine. So let me tell you, we would again look into this, because when we are talking about he shall be coming, the second person, even when we are telling he shall be coming, because he has planned to come, he shall be coming from Delhi. So again when we are talking about he who is staying in Delhi has planned, who is very near to us and this thing, he has planned. So this is a certain program which is planned in the near future. He shall be coming from Delhi tomorrow. So again the second person we are talking, and the third person, even they are invited in the party. They shall be invited in the party. As they are invited in the party, we have called they shall be invited in the party. Fine, they shall be coming for the party, we would say. They shall be coming for the party, as we have invited them. They shall be coming, they are invited already. So they shall be coming to the party. Fine guys, so please remember this, for the second and the third person even we use it. Next point is, which we need to remember, with the second and third person, pronouns shall may be used to express a command. Again remember this guys, please, this is very important that we need to understand. With second and third person, fine, second and third person pronoun shall may be used to express a command. How? Let me give you the example. Okay, let's take the example, you shall not lie. So we are someone who is speaking lie, the first person is commanding the person, you shall not lie. You shall not lie. Fine. And the other way, second example, let me give you. He shall obey my instructions. So it is, I am clearly instructing, he shall obey my instructions. In that case, again, when we tell, shall may be used. Fine. So again, with second and third person pronoun, shall may be used to express command. So again, it is like, it's again commanding that he shall obey my instructions. They are my orders. He shall obey my instructions. You shall not lie. Again, you know, it is commanding this thing that we are instructing in. Next, when we are telling, sometimes, next point is, sometimes shall is used to talk about a promise. So let us take the example, he shall be promoted, or second, yes, again when we are taking this, sometimes shall is used to talk about a promise. So we are assuring someone something, we are assuring a strong assurance we are giving when we are committing someone something. So it is sometimes, as we are saying, shall is used to talk about a promise. So when we are assuring something to someone, it is promising. He shall be promoted. So might be an employee or a working person is assured about the promotion, the nearing promotion. So that is how he shall be promoted. Fine. Another example, let me give you. Okay, let me give you another example. Okay, she shall get prize if she does not make a single mistake. So like, you know, to kids we say, if you don't make mistake, you shall get the prize. The same way, she shall get prize if she does not make a single mistake, not even a single mistake seen, she shall be rewarded, awarded, whatever we say it. Fine. So again, this is a commitment that you are giving, assurance you are giving. In such cases, we use shall for assurance, for commitments, for promises. Yes, this that we would take care of. Fine. Next, shall is also used to express a threat. Let us take the example first, so we can understand it better way. He shall regret this. And okay, so when we are taking it, shall is also used to express a threat. So it is, you know, as if we are warning or threatening someone. Even during such cases, we use shall. He shall regret this. Someone has done something wrong or harming someone. So we mean to say the person would regret for what he has done. Might be he has done something really wrong, which he should feel guilty for. In such cases, again we are threatening, he shall regret this. Let me give you a simpler example too. Okay, let me say this, he shall be dismissed if he doesn't obey my instructions. Fine. So again, this one, when we are saying he shall be dismissed if he doesn't obey my instructions. So again, we are threatening clearly that if you don't obey, you shall be dismissed. So again, these are the threats that we are giving. Fine. And guys, so let us proceed further. There are other few reasons even why shall is used. So, let us understand. I hope till now that we are clear about why shall is used. Next, sometimes again the next point goes, shall expresses determination on the part of the speaker. Yes, sometimes when we say shall expresses determination on the part of the speaker, that what determination, dedication, commitment a person has for the work or whatever it is. So, accordingly shall expresses that. Let us take an example. I shall apologize. I or you can take it, I or you shall apologize. So, it is again when we are taking in this case, the person is apologizing for something. So, it is expressing the determination of the person that yes, he feels sorry, he has that, at least he has that determination towards the work or the thing, that he realizes that yes, this is wrong, this is right, fine. So, again shall helps for this. Let me give another example, and again when we are talking about in this, shall is used, please remember this, I will give you another example again. Shall is used to indicate future action. So, when we are talking over here even, I shall apologize. So, it is in near future that the person, now that you have realized it, now the person, I have realized it now, so I shall apologize, fine. So, again it is the near future, it is not, if I am doing it right now, it would be I am apologizing or this thing. So, accordingly it would be working. So, I shall when I am using it, it is again for the near future, please understand this, fine. And then it is mostly, it is most commonly used in sentences with, please remember this, I, with sentences with I. As I said, I apologize, I shall apologize, fine. Usually it comes with such this thing, the first person, or we, again that is I, we, fine, and is often found in sentences such as, again as we have spoken, we are talking about indicates future action. So, we when we are talking about, let us take an example, shall we go, again we is used, fine. So, shall we go, fine, this is again expressing, fine. So, shall we go, okay. In such a case again, when we are talking, shall is also frequently used in promise or voluntary actions. See, again when we are looking into, because when we are talking about this point, fine, we need to understand the several connectivity with this. There are many other referral things which could come, which as we are talking about, sometimes shall expresses determination on the part of speaker. When we are telling about the determination is again into various things, fine. As we are talking in the first this thing, shall is used to indicate future action. So, again it expresses the determination which the person is working, the future action. Like example we have taken, shall we go, fine, again it is talking about the future action, the determination, and shall is frequently used to promise or volunteer action. Let me give you the example even for this, and before that let me tell you one thing. In formal English, again please remember, in formal English the use of shall. Please everyone remember this, it's very important. In formal English, the use of shall to describe future events often expresses inevitability, predestination. So this again we need to please make sure, like in formal English the way we use, fine, the shall is to describe the events of often that expresses inevitability and predestination, like we have already seen in our examples. Fine, in examples when we are seeing, it's continuously expressing the same thing as told here. Fine, so please remember this few points which is important when we are using shall, why we are using shall. Fine, and there are few more things that we need to know. Let me proceed further. Yes, so again one more thing, that next point that we need to remember is, okay, shall also, shall indicates, so we say it's like we discussed it about things, shall also indicates future actions. Okay, so again let me give you the example. I shall be there by 8 p.m. I shall be there by 8 p.m. So this is again that I am confirming, I am assuring, but again it is the future, the near future which is going, it is talking about. Okay, next point when we are looking at, shall indicates suggestions, promises. Fine, shall, and again over here shall indicates suggestions and promises, like even in the past sentences, the commitment and all that we were speaking about, promises, commitments, even it is the same thing that we are talking about. Shall indicates suggestions and promises. So now when we are further going on this, let's talk, let's even know the example of this when we are talking. So please, suggestion, let me take, shall we begin the dinner. So I am taking a suggestion, might be we have few of them, so we are taking a suggestion, shall we begin the dinner. Might be it is the time, but it is the time, but again when we are looking into if all are interested or not, how is it, so we go with this, shall we begin the dinner. And when we are talking about a promise, let me give you another example. Okay, it's again a commitment and a promise. I shall take care of everything for you. So again when we are committing someone for something, and so it is, we are assuring, we are promising a person, I shall take care of everything for you. So I am assuring it, I am assuring it, I am committing it, I am promising it. So in such cases even shall indicates suggestions and promises, shall can be used. Fine, and I hope we are fine to go with shall. Now let us proceed further with the next. So how and where will we use will? Fine. Okay, with the first person, when we are talking about will, with the first person will expresses ideas such as determination. Please remember guys, these are few things that if you remember this, this would help you out the best. With the first person, fine, will expresses ideas such as determination, determination, promise, threat, willingness, etc. We would learn further more in detail about will. So, when we are saying again shall and will, we will now know the further difference further. Again with the first person, it expresses ideas such as determination, promise, threat, willingness, etc. Fine. Next, let us go for the example first, so that it makes few things clear instead of confusion. So, again when we are talking, I will go whatever happens. I will go whatever happens. So, I am very strong on the point that yes, I will go. I am so strongly determined that I will go, whatsoever happens, I will go. Fine, that is a commitment, that is a promise, it is a determination. So, again this let me give you one more example. We will not wait. So, again when we are talking, we will not wait, we are clearly saying we will not wait. You can call it a threat that yes, we are sure we will not wait. So, it is you who has to be on time, we will not wait. Fine. So, I think the first thing with will that we understand. Now, proceeding further, when we are talking about first thing, promise, how does the first point that we know is promise, how does will work with promise? Fine. So, let us understand this. When we are talking about promise, how let's take the example to understand it. Fine. So, it is I will give you a call after a minute. So, when we are saying I will give you a call after a minute, see, when we are talking about promise, it does not mean I use the word promise. Please remember this, it is not needed I use the word promise. It is the commitment that I am giving, my assurance that I am giving. So, I am saying I will give you a call after a minute. So, I have assured. So, person can trust on me and wait on my words. Fine. Next example, even let me give you one more example. Okay, I will do whatever I can to help you, her, whatever you take it. Let us take you, to help you. So, I'm again committing someone, I'm assuring someone. Again, it's a promise that I am giving, but not using the word promise. I will do whatever I can do to help you. So, that is again I am assuring a person that you can trust on me, you can rely on me. That is a promise that we are giving. Fine. Next, when we are going with, okay, so next let us take, apart from promise, will is used to express threat, as we said, threat. Fine, it is to express threat. Fine, will is used to express threat, and again let us look into more details of it. Example, when we are giving, let me give you the example. Okay, I will teach him a lesson. See, I will teach him a lesson. It is not that I have shouted on someone and threatened him or something. My sentence is enough. I will teach him a lesson. Very nicely I have expressed it. It is a threat given that I will not take, let the person not take me for granted. I will not easily leave it, I will teach him a lesson. Fine. So, that sentence, a simple word, simple sentence is again a threat. Fine. So, I will, when I am saying will, I am sure I will do it. Fine. My assurance, I am very strong on my words. I will do it. That is how it means. Fine. So, I will teach him a lesson. Next example, let me give you one more example. Okay. I will kill you if you do not obey my orders. So, it is again warning a person. It's directly a warning, I will kill you if you do not obey my words. So, again I have threatened the person, I will kill you if you do not obey my words. So, it is a clear warning. Fine. Next, will is also to express willingness. So, when we are talking about will is also used to express willingness. So, let us take the example again. All right, I will come with you to the party. So, again I am showing my willingness and okay, all right, I will come with you to the party. So, again I am showing my willingness that I am interested, so I will join you in the party. Fine. And next one more example, let me give a simpler one. Okay, let me give this. Of course, I will lend you my car. See, of course, I will lend you my car. What does this say? That yes, I am giving my car to you with interest, and it is again my willingness is there in that okay, fine, you take my car, I have no problem. So, again this says I will lend you my car, fine. So, again it is lending the car is with willingness. I shall lend you my car is again that I need to think over. So, I will lend you my car, it is I am willing to give you my car, so I will give you my car, fine. So, again when we are understanding, there are a few more things that we need just to take care of with the second person and third. With the second and third person, how would we go? Fine, this is again an important point. Fine, when used with the second and third person, will expresses simple futurity. Fine. So, again this is very important to understand. It is again very important to understand. Till now we were talking about the first person. Fine. Now, when we are talking about the second and the third person, with second and the third person, will expresses simple futurity. Fine. Let us take the example for a better understanding. The train will leave at 10 a.m. So, now we are talking about the train, fine. It is not the first person, it is second or the third person. The train will leave at 10 a.m. We know the time, it is a fixed time, it will leave, or the flight, the train you tell, or the flight will leave at 10 a.m. Next, one more example let me give. Okay, he, second person, will arrive 8 p.m. or 8 o'clock. He will arrive at 8 o'clock or he will arrive by 8 o'clock. So, we are sure by 8 he will be here, fine. So, again it is for the second or third person, for third person that we have used, for second person that we have used, again will can be used. Next, when we are looking into, we already spoke about shall, will. Again let us not get confused. So, let us discuss when we are talking about shall and will. Now, when we are talking about shall and will, how to use, when to use, let us understand about shall and will together. Fine. The models shall and will, when we are talking, the models shall and will plus main verb are used to create future tenses. This is one thing that we will please have a clear knowledge about, that shall and will plus the main verb. Please keep this in point, shall and will plus the main verb, shall and will or shall or will, you can take it, plus the main verb are used to create future tenses. Fine. Again, because even in the usage, when we were learning about shall and will, you should have understood one thing, it is talking more about future, it is not talking about past, fine, or present, it is mainly talking about future. Fine. So, again one thing we understand, these models, what are these models? Shall and will. Fine, these models indicate an intention or an action that is expected to happen in the future. So, it is clear, guys, please have no confusion, it is very clear thing. The model indicates what model? Shall and will. Fine. The model shall and will indicates an intention or act or an action that is expected to take place in or to happen in the future. So, please, one thing let us have clear, shall and will are used for future. Fine. Next point that we remember about shall and will, the first thing that we have understood is this. Second point that we need to keep in mind is, when used in statements, there is no difference in meaning between these two. What these two? Shall and will. Fine. So, please remember, when used in a statement, there is no difference in the meaning between shall and will. Fine. There is no difference between them. Again, let us give an example for this, so that there is no confusion. I will or shall close the door for you, or even if you do not write, it is fine. I will close the door for you. I shall close the door for you. So, we are committing. Fine. We are assuring that I will do it. I shall do it, I will do it, both when I am saying it is, I am assuring it. Fine. One more example if I am giving it. Okay, let us take, he will or shall meet us at the railway station. So, again it is assuring that he shall or will, or he will or shall meet us at railway station. So, we know where the person is going to meet. Fine. And if we add the time at the railway station by whatever time it is. So, again the meaning does not change, either shall you use or will you use, you can use both. Fine. Next, the other point again we need to take care of when it is shall and will, in WH questions. Again we know what are WH questions, we already discussed about. So, in WH questions, shall and will ask about options. Fine, it asks about options. For a better understanding, first let us take the example so we can understand it. Okay, So, okay, who will or shall drive the car? So, in WH question again we are taking who will or shall drive the car. Fine, we are asking about an option. Fine, again when we are looking into this, we are not sure who is going to do it. So, again shall and will are can be used, one of them can be used, who shall or who will drive the car. Fine. Next one more word, let me take one more example. Okay, when will or shall I see you again? So, again a person is asking, might be we are getting departed from a friend or what? When will I see you again? When shall I see you again? So, both, any one you use it, meaning does not change, statement does not change, sentence does not change, it remains the same. So, guys, please do not confuse. Fine, the basic rules for both what are separately having its own meaning, how would they be used, how can they be used, that is already informed, that we have already learnt. Now, even if it is together, how we are having a better understanding on it, so that we do not get confused. Next point when we are looking into, please remember even one more thing, shall and will when we are talking about, will also ask for information or knowledge about somebody or something. Fine, this is again that we need to understand that shall or will when we are taking or talking about, will also ask for information or knowledge about somebody or something. How? Let us understand with an example. Will or shall you turn off the radio? See, again in this, when we are asking, we will also ask information, fine. So, we are trying to know, in this any one of them can be used, but which one will be used? Will you turn off the radio? Fine, will you turn off the radio, when it is used for the second person, will you turn off the radio, I am asking. And if I myself am asking, first person, shall I, when if it is with will, it will be you, and with shall it will be I. Shall I turn off the radio? Again there should not be a confusion. See, it is will also ask for information and knowledge about somebody, but again it is every time will or shall, it again plays its role. So, when it is for you, the second person, will you turn off the radio? I am telling to you, turn off the radio, fine. And when I myself am talking, I shall turn off the radio, or I will turn off the radio. When it is I can say I will, I shall, both can be used. But when it is shall you, that is wrong. Will you turn off the radio? Because I am asking, and that is for this thing, fine. Let me take one more sentence. Oh, fine, let us understand the next point. Then remember one more point, that is shall asks about a preference. Again when we are looking into the examples we will be sharing, when we are looking into shall and should are synonyms, yeah, it is synonymous, So, shall and should are synonymous, fine. Again when we are talking about in American accent, fine, when we are talking about in American American English, fine, in American English shall is rarely used, and when it is used, it's only in the first person singular and plural, but it is first person, let us remember that. So again shall asks about a preference, it asks about a preference. Fine, it is trying to know your choice, it is not imposing the things. Fine, and again shall and should, please remember shall and should are synonymous. Shall I do, should I do, should I give you a glass of water, shall I give you a glass of water, it is going synonymous. Fine. Then in American English when we are talking about, please keep this in mind, in American English shall is rarely used, very rarely. Fine. And when it is used, it is only in the first persons, singular or plural. Like I gave an example, shall I give you a glass of water, should I give you a glass of water, you should be here, you shall be here, you should be here. Again when we are looking into these things, it again gives the preferences. Fine, and how synonymous it goes, it explains us. Next when we are looking into, so yes, I think with this let me give you some example. Should I, should or shall I close the door? Fine. So again even both can be used, should I close the door, shall I close the door. Fine. Next example let me give is, should or shall we stay here. So again we are confirming, should we are asking the preference even, we are confirming with the preferences, we are trying to know other person's choice too. Fine. Should or shall, any one thing, should we stay here or shall we stay here, in both the cases it goes. So yes, when we are looking into this point, I hope we are clear with the things. So today we have discussed is about shall and will. Fine, and again let me tell you one more point. Okay, like we said about shall and should, there is one thing about will. So even I think this is important for you guys, better we know it. Will oblique won't be able to, that is talking about general ability. Fine. Now when we are using it will or won't, fine, will and won't when we are looking into, fine, they be able to, will be able to, won't be able to, both will and won't are talking about your ability, your general ability. So please remember, when it comes for general ability point, will and won't shall be used or will be used. Fine. Example let me give you. Okay, he won't be able to speak English, he won't be able to speak English in a week, it will take a month. So a person who doesn't know English, he will not be able to speak English, he won't be able to speak, won't, now will, how would we use it? He won't be able to speak English in a week, it will take a month. So we are telling someone he won't be, when we are talking about the ability, the general ability, seeing a person we are clear he won't be able to speak English in a week, it will take at least a month or it will take a month. Seeing the person's general ability, seeing the person's ability, that is how we are using it, won't, will. Fine. Or let us give some other example even. Okay, let me tell, at the end of the course, you will be able to make your own website. Okay, so now when we are understanding it, at the end of the course, you will be able to make your own website. So that is again, they are talking about the ability, that what would happen, the general ability, the assurance, that what would happen after this, the end of the course. By the time you complete your course, by the end of this course, what is going to happen? Yes, you will be able to create your own website. Fine. So let's work it out accordingly. I hope we are clear with shall and will, and even we are clear on the point that how the shall and will be used, and even if together, how would it be? Shall, will, and again shall and should, how they are synonymous. I hope today we are clear on this point. The modal verb will and shall, fine, and their details. So I hope we are clear with this. So let's end up the day today with this thing. Thank you. Have a great day.